How y'all doing? Today, I'm going to do a lesson, short lesson, continuing series, Job. Everybody knows about him, everybody knows what he went through, everybody knows the outcome. But let's learn about him. I'm going to go to, I don't know how long I'm going to go, but I'm going. So, in this book here, it has a you should know. So let's take care of that, because you should know. It says, Job was a wealthy and religious man who lost everything he owned, even his children, when God let Satan challenge his faithfulness. Now that's a point right there. When God let Satan challenge his faithfulness. Why would God do that? Well, let me finish reading what it says about me now. Job remained devoted to God, but questioned why he was suffering. He questioned why he was suffering. 3 of Job's friends tried to convince him that he had sinned before God. Now see, people that don't know think they know. So his friends are telling him, you must have done something for God to put you through all this. You did something. When Job cried out for an answer to his problems, God showed that he was the creator and controller of the universe. Job acknowledged God's power, and all his possessions were restored to him. So Job was in doubt. So he cried out. We'll find out later what he cried out in the scriptures. But God heard him cry out, and he showed him who he was, creator and controller of everything. There is nothing happening that God doesn't know about and that is not in his control. There's nothing going on that he doesn't know or he's not in control of. He only puts on you what you can bear. He doesn't let you walk into certain situations. He's always watching. Then it said, Job acknowledged God's power and all the possessions that were restored to him. Were restored to him. Once he acknowledged who God really was, everything came back to him. And now, that's how God works. Now I'm going to get into it. Job 1. Job and his background. Now we're going to find out about everything about Job. I ain't going long, but I'm going. There was a man in the land of Uz, or Uz, whose name was Job, not Job, Job. Spelled the same way. And that man was perfect and upright. And one that feared God. So he was perfect and upright. He walked a straight line. He was about his business. He had a purpose. He had a plan. But he feared God. When they say to fear God, it doesn't mean that you're so scared you won't go into a church, or you're so scared. It just means you respect him for what and who he is and what he has done in your life and for this world and what he gave up for us to be here and to walk among this earth. It's a respect. It's not a fear. Even though they say fear and trembling, you go before God with fear and trembling. One that feared God and eschewed evil. Now, eschewed, well, just, now this church is streets, so I ain't got no terminology around here, eschewed. I'm gonna just say got away from evil, stayed away from evil, moved evil over to the side. Evil over here, I'm gonna be over here. You know what I mean? That was Job. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters, 10 children. This is back in the day. 10 children, 7 sons, 3 daughters. His substance also was 7,000 sheep and 3,000 camels and 500 yoke of oxen and 500 she asses or donkeys, and a very great household, so that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East, powerful. He was really, really powerful, and in that time, really, really rich. He had it all. Farm animals, land, great big old house. Guess we call it a mansion. He just was living a life. And his sons went and feasted in their houses. They had houses. So his family was very well taken care of. His sons, his daughter, his daughters. So this man had it all. He didn't want for nothing, he didn't need nothing, his kids were taken care of. Let's read on. They feasted in their houses, every one his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. So basically they all got together, celebrated, they had a good time or whatever. I'm reading just like y'all with me, I'm with y'all. Because I don't know the full story. I just know what it was, what he went through, and the outcome and stuff, the deal that was made and everything. But I didn't really, never took the time to read it. Verse 5. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were going about, that Job sent and sacrificed them, and rose up early in the morning, and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their own hearts. Thus did Job continually. Thus did Job continually. So what I'm getting from this, King James Version, so what I'm getting from that is his sons was kids, not young kids, but just adults, young adults, I guess, and they were doing whatever they were doing. He was taking care of them, but meanwhile they were doing what they were doing, and some of it, if not all of it, was not right in the sight of God. So he went out and he burnt offerings for his sons, for God to forgive them of what they're doing, or what they were doing. And he did this daily, continually, daily, every day, probably at the same time. Okay, so that's Job and his background. Now, we're going to get into the whole story of what happened. And it starts with Satan and God having a conversation about Job. I don't see, I know there was a conversation, and I'm going to have to read it to find out what actually took place, because I know the gist of the conversation because I went to church many years and I know what the gist was and how it came out. But let's get into it. Now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord. And Satan came also among them. Now, I could have read a little deeper, but it says, the sons of God. Now everybody knows the Son of God is Jesus, is the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. But it said the sons of God. And Satan came too. Let's read on. 7. And the Lord said unto Satan, Whence comest thou? So, we know the story that Satan was an angel who wanted too much, did too much. I'm just streeting it. He wanted too much, he did too much, and God was like, that's enough. So he was casted out from heaven. But he was allowed to rule down here on the earth because God believes in free will. You make your own decisions. So, but at this juncture, he called all the sons. Satan comes in. And he's saying, what you doing here? Then Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, remember I just told you, he reigns down here. He has free reign down here. He doesn't reign, but whoever you believe reigns, but he has dominion over this. God has all power and dominion, but he's allowed to oversee this and all who want to stay in that lane. From going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. Okay, so he's going to and from in the earth, over here, over there, over here, over there, over here, over there, and walking up and down in it, meaning he was like I am right now, just walking around. So yes, you hear many people talk about the devil's in the church. Yes, he is. The devil's in the school. Yes, he is. The devil's, he all over the place. He's not confined to one area. He's all over the place. But we, being of free will, get to choose whose side we're on. And most people, I speak for myself when I say that, for a while, it took me a minute to figure out where I wanted to be. But I would never say, I'm on the devil's side and that's what it is. I wasn't doing that. But the things of the world, I was here. I would go to church, back in the world. Go to church, back in the world, until the lines started blurring. They started blurring. Somebody would say, hey, we're having a gospel celebration. At first they come out of my mouth is the worldly thoughts of, I was a DJ. I'm still a DJ, but not like that. But my worldly thoughts just came right in, hey, I'll do your party. I'll do it. It's a gospel party, I got plenty of gospel. I'll play your music for you. And they would just politely say, no, we have a choir. We're good. So, okay. My rates are, I'm trying to sell myself to the church. I'm trying to sell my worldly self to the church. Didn't see nothing yet. So meanwhile, you know, I'm jumping back and forth. I'm in one church, I'm in another church, and then I'm going. I'm coming in with powerful stuff. I'm like, this, that, and the other, and they're like, oh, you got something right there. And as soon as they say that, I'm like, I ain't got nothing. And a couple of people, a couple of the pastors, and called me out. They was like, hey, you know, you got to choose. I said, choose what? I got to choose. What do you want to be? Which side do you want to be on? You can't serve two masters. You can't be in the world and be of Christ at the same time. It's not possible. I don't know. But anyway, I don't want to get on me. All right, so he called his son. Satan came in. He's like, Satan, what are you doing here? Satan's like, look, I done been up and down, to and fro, all over the earth. You know, I need to see what else is going on. So here we are. All right. This is 8. And the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth God and escheweth evil. Remember, he ain't with the evil. No. Then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear God for naught? Hast thou not made an hedge about him, and about his house, and about all that he hath on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance is increased in the land. But put forth thine hand now, and touch all that he hath, and he will curse thee to thy face. So now, God's talking to the devil, Satan, about Job. Job is my man. The whole world going crazy, but Job stayed faithful, and he believes in me, and he is 100% on me. And now the devil like, well, look at why. Look at why. Because you done gave him a house. He got all the land. He got kids. The kids got houses. He got sheep and oxen and donkeys, and his farmland is crazy. Everything's crazy. Just overabundantly blessed. Why wouldn't he respect, fear you? Why wouldn't he? But if you right now today take all that away, I'm willing to bet you, I'm talking street, but this is, basically what he said. I'm willing to bet you that he'll cuss you. He'll turn his back on you. He ain't so devout as you think he is. He ain't so straightforward with you as he think he is if you take all that away. But of course, while he got all that, you was number one. All right, so that's where we at now. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in my power. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. I'm going to read that again. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he hath is in thy power. It's earthly. It's earthly. It's earthly. Now I get it. It's earthly. It's your thing, Satan. My things are up here. That earthly realm, that's you. So everything he has, that's you. It's in your power. Okay. Only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. All right, so I'm trying to get it. Just like y'all, I'm trying to learn too. So he told God to put forth thine hand now and touch all that he hath. He will curse thee to thy faith. Okay? But he's saying, Satan, that's your stuff. You run the earthly realm. You doing all the earthly things. You do it. you do it. But that's what I'm getting. I know some other people be like, no, that's not it, that's not it, that's not what he knows, that's not. What I'm getting is, he's telling him, I don't have to do it. It's your stuff. You do it. Because I have faith in Job. Job is one of my people. I have faith. All right, so that's where I'm going to stop at. We left off at 12, and we're going to pick it up next time with 13. So, hopefully it made sense to you. I'll be back with 13 another day. But just don't forget, we're talking about Job. This is going to be the first of many lessons as I take my time to put them together. And they're not really put together, I'm being honest with you. I'm just opening the Bible and picked up Job. I've been wanting to talk about Job. Here I am talking about Job. So if it's a lesson, thank you. If it's just me rambling on, well, sorry about that. But basically, to recap, Job is an upstanding citizen who has a strong faith in God. He's also, because of his faith, his blessings are abundant. From farm animals to farmland, his kids is well off, they got houses. He got 7 sons, 3 daughters, 10 kids, and they're all good. Through his belief, his strong faith in God. They were having a conversation, so God called his sons. Satan shows up. Satan is basically like, look, I done been on earth. I mean, it is what it is. People doing what they do. It's okay. But I'm getting tired. There's nothing really, this is too easy. I come down here and violence, murder, slanderous, lying, shooting, killing, stabbing. I got that. That was easy. I mean, your few is, your people are here, but my people are there, and it's kind of cool, but I've been to and fro, I've been up and down and all over the earth, and just nothing left. So God said, have you thought about Job? You mean the one from Uz, the one with all the farmland and the kids and the houses and the rich guy? He's very rich. God's like, yeah. So the devil's like, well, God's like, that's one of my faithful. The devil's like, you're faithful? He got land, he got animals, his kids got houses, he got cars, he got whatever he wants. Of course he's one of your faithful. Of course he is. You have blessed this man abundantly. Why wouldn't he be faithful to you and God-fearing? You have gave him everything he wants. But I tell you what, you take all that away, he'll turn around and curse you. You put your hand on everything that he got and take it away, he'll curse you. So then God comes back and says, well, you know what? Those are earthly things he got. Earthly. That's your domain. All my things are heavenly. Your things are earthly. So you rule over that. So why don't you put your hand over it? You do what you do. Because I know Job. He's stronger than them earthly things he got. His belief in me is stronger than them. So that's where we're at. That's where we're going to leave off at. And we're coming back to Job 13. So if you're following, we're in Job. I went from 1 to 12. Chapter 1, verse 12. And we're going to come back to 13. And all that I just explained is what's happening from 1 to 12. All right. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. This has been Church in the Streets. Be blessed, be safe, and be healthy.